No.
Oh,
And usually that thing is in reference with some type of problematic statement.
oh.
Usually,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I know what you're talking about, Digger, but just for the sake of the viewers, please elaborate exactly what Bugs Bunny is usually saying.
loser.
Ah, Bugs Bunny.
But yeah, I mean, at least the way he made it sound was that, he still got shit cooking for Elantris, which, I mean, makes sense given that he uh, has two more Elantris books in the works.
Oh,
At least I believe that's what he said. I believe he said after this fifth Stormlight book, he's going to do two more Elantris books and three more Morrowind books.
that's good. Uh,
And then he's going to go back to Stormlight for another septology.
Because I'll be honest, I liked Elantris, like, in principle. However, however, on a reread, it is very, you know,
Basic.
it is very apparent. It's his first book. I was like, the Brandon Sanderson of today could have done much better, but I really enjoy the
And what about it screamed to you that, this is
oh,
first book material?
just the
The
I mean,
prose.
just yeah, just the prose, yeah, just the prose. I mean, possibly some of the plot, but that's not what jumped out at me. Uh, it had some cool stuff, but I really enjoyed the magic system. I don't know how it fits into, you know, Cosmere magic, right?
Do you know what god is on a lantern? Did they reference it?
Oh fuck if I'm like positive they can't have referenced it. Maybe they referenced it in the other book. Wow, I just embarrassed myself. Okay, maybe they referenced it in the other book. I don't know, um, but I'm sure they didn't mention it in the first one. But yeah, I don't know how the magic of Elantris fits into the whole like physical
Cosmo.
realm, cognitive realm, dichotomy or trichotomy because it's the spiritual realm. Uh, and a lot of I was just in reading Rhythm of War. Uh, the chapter headers are talking about Fabriel creation, and I was like, oh yeah, so they're talking about how different metals affect the properties of Fabrials, and I was like, okay, that's how they're tying it back. That same like
Yeah,
different metals do different things that they've linked in, and I mean, at least in Mistborn, I feel like one of the other, there's like the
I know
thaumaturgy.
something in fucking this fifth book. They reference like aluminum for related to something. I have no idea. It was like a quick little thing about a science experiment. But yeah, I think they. I remember what you're saying about how they were like, oh, this type of metal goes type of fabrial, which then can bring out this type of sprint.
Yeah. So I don't know how that fits in with the rest of the Cosmere magic, which is supposed to all be, the same system, just different expressions of it, you know. Honestly, Brandon Sanderson might not know. But I think he
Yeah,
also said I I want to say he also said in that same thing that he had already figured out how the magic worked for like everything when he wrote Elantris. It's
Yeah.
like I'm
One thing that I've kind of been confused about is the idea that why does it have to work? Because technically, couldn't a nigh all powerful god just create multiple magic systems?
I mean,
I mean, in Mistborn, he literally moves the Earth and then changes the genetics of the creatures on said planet because he fucked up the ecosystem. He said, you can now breathe in air that is part ash.
yeah.
So it's like, why can't he just be like, oh yeah, the other systems run with like metal and stormlight and cognitive realms. And they're like, but this one is just purely based off of a connection to the god itself. And, like a certain type of genetics gives you latent abilities that like the god created. Like, they're almost like, how the humans came to Roshar. It's like that god came to this other planet and he decided to genetically change his people so that they would dominate the other people.
I don't know. I mean, that's a genetic change versus a granting them magical powers. But I don't know.
But I guess on what I was saying, people would kind of like in Mistborn, where it was like, the only the noble people had metallurgy powers or dramaturgy. Not dramaturgy. That's the fucking
Thaumaturgy.
yeah, thaumaturgy.
You know,
But
that's a
it's
good point.
like,
I forgot that the Lord Ruler like granted those powers
yeah,
with the
he pretty
power of
much was
ruin.
like, hey, people who are connected to my race, you guys now all have the ability X, and if you then have children with people not of said group, you have to kill them.
But for the sake of the argument, he used ruin's power to make, um, to grant them abilities that fit within the magic system. So maybe
Yes, he
like,
did just say, here is a like a pill that is ruin condensed into a single power. Eat it, and you now have power of a god.
yeah. So your basic investiture. So I don't know.
You know
I
what?
just
Honestly, Shadow, that kind of makes sense. The idea that on Scadrial they had to consume a piece of a god's power, and on Roshar you have to bond with a piece of a god's power, or technically a being created by a god.
yeah.
Actually, but then what exactly is Dazed's race? What is their power? Is that from preservation?
I don't know. There were three powers, right? There was the Mistborn, the Thaumaturgy, and the other one, the Sazed's people.
Yeah, it's like
And they were
Sazed's
all
race. Yeah.
they were all, you know, I want to say the same thing. Like they were all just different expressions of the same set of like principles. Like they had variations, but it was the same principle of, you know, using metal to do magic, and the different metals used, were
But
associated with similar effects.
I guess what I'm saying is, like, with the Mistborn powers, they consumed a piece of a god's power, giving them this ability relating to metal. With the thaumaturgy or whatever it is, where they jam the spikes through the heart of somebody with a piece of metal, draining their power and like siphoning it into the person that they nail the spike into, you know, is kind of like that. But you never and both of those are of ruin.
Yeah,
My
that's a good
question
point.
is my question is how exactly did Sazed's race learn how to do what they're doing?
I mean, maybe it is preservation
That's my only
because they
guess.
are, yeah, they are literally preserving attributes. That is
Yeah.
literally the. So yeah, that would make sense. We'll see. I'm just trying to work out how investiture fits with the Elantris people. They didn't use any metal. There was no metal involved. But admittedly, there's no metal involved in shard bearers or anything. Or I mean, radiance. It's just that's a, for a different thing.
Yeah. One
But the
thing that
Elantris,
that can sorry, we're saying.
just saying the Elantris people just drew symbols in the air and, did magic with them. Maybe I need to read the other books set in that world.
That whole world, the fucking Elantris world.
Yeah.
Are there any other books set on that world?
There's at least one. I don't remember what it's called. It might be the Emperor's Soul. I don't remember. Electrics might have been the first Brandon Sanderson book I read as well. There's a place just a couple blocks away from my office that has a fucking fantastic chicken burger.
Interesting.
But it's like $15.
A little less interesting.
I mean, my god, is it? It's worth it though. Maybe not frequently, but definitely worth it every once in a while.
So, um, I think there's something in the fourth book that I don't want to spoil, but I'm not 100% sure if it's been explained yet.
All right,
It's
don't talk about
relating.
it.
It's well, I guess like how far are you in Shallan's story with the Ghost Bloods?
I mean, she's on her way to the city.
I guess does she know?
She knows very little at any given time.
Because essentially, the Ghost Bloods have like one. It's weird. Like, plot is purely like economic related, and I'm like, this feels like a waste. Like I don't fully understand because you really only get pieces of what they're doing, and you never get to really Thydakar or Thoughtakar or whatever, who's like the leader of Bloods. You never into the fifth book. You get to see him talk like once in a flashback, and you're like, okay, so okay, like what does this mean? But yeah, it feels real weird that the Bloods are like, yeah, we're doing this for money, I guess. Maybe, which I guess they're resources, and it's like I guess you can use resources on different planets. Cool. I don't fully understand what the end game is.
It's a pretty silly motivation, since with the crazy amount of like nonsense they get up to. Clearly they would have just been able to get as much money as they wanted. Like,
Well, I guess specific thing that they're wanting to do, like you can only do, but it's kind of confusing to me because this kind of comes back to the systems all being intertwined, but seemingly they're intertwined, but they're different in a way that I don't fully understand, like why a god couldn't just do the exact same thing on their world that honor and cultivation did on Char. It's like, you know, uh, so I don't know. It's like their overarching goal is like they want to create a interplanetary trade route with you know I guess trying to find resources just on other planets and then getting them to different planets. But I don't fully understand how like if you want to take the metals from Gadriel to Roshar. It's like, okay, what does that do? It's like if you want to take, resources from Roshar and get them to Scadriel, it's like, okay, what exactly? I don't know. It's almost like they want to somehow mix the magic systems, but I'm like, I don't even know if that would work or if
well, the only thing I've learned, or the only thing that was said so far, was that they wanted to be able to transport, power, and Stormlight is the only,
okay, so you have
good way to
learned
do
that.
that.
That's what I was wanting to talk about.
Yeah, he was
It's
like,
like
Stormlight is, stored in gem. It's like magic stored in gemstones, and no one else has anything like that.
and essentially what they're saying was, I guess there's no gemstones that can hold Stormlight, without it in eventually seeping out. Uh, and they're like, we want to transport it to other worlds. We don't have the ability to because there's no vessel to put it in, and it doesn't leak out by the time that you get to whatever world you're. And I'm like, okay, but what exactly does taking Stormlight to another?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I would
is it literally
assume
just a form of energy? Is that it?
that would be my assumption.
That feels like a very pedantic way to use a god's power and your willingness to like unleash odium on the world by like undermining the good guys just so that you can like get money here and there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming. I mean, my guess would be the my initial guess would be that they believe that the stormlight could be used to say power, uh, you know, power Mistborn or the Elantris people or whatever, and that they could thus make more powerful, or they could use the magic of the world they're in, you know, more powerfully than anyone else,
So
and
you
thus
think it
they
would like
could,
supercharge them?
yeah, or you know, I guess the Mistborn aren't really limited in how much power they can use, right? They just eat more metal. Well, I guess they're kind of limited.
Well, I guess one thing that I'm not 100% sure about is like, you know, Mistborn is set. Uh, it's like you got the first trilogy, and then they skip what like a 100, 200 years into the future in the second trilogy, and then they do another time skip for the third trilogy. Is what he's saying, where it's supposed to be like space age level technology, uh, in the third trilogy of Mistborn,
No,
and I
that's the
believe
fourth trilogy.
that's the fourth trilogy.
Yeah, there's supposed to be like modern day trilogy in between.
Okay,
But yeah, either that
because
or
my thing is I assumed third trilogy of Mistborn is going on at the same time as what's happening on Roshar, because you're getting the third trilogy of Mistborn and then the completion of the Roshar books, or at least the completion of the first 10 Roshar books. I don't know if he plans to make more.
so either that or they believe that they could, you know, if they could transport Stormlight to another world, then obviously like they could take a Radiant to the other world. And then the Radiants with their, drastically better powers than all the other worlds, seemingly, uh,
Yeah,
would have a huge advantage. So
it's
there's
like
that.
cool. You can control metal. My sword isn't made of metal, and I can slice your soul from your body.
Yeah. I too can fly, but not in the wimpy way you do. So yeah, that or I guess option 3 maybe literally used as power. Like is there a planet out there
Because
that's already using, electricity?
that's what I was thinking of. Because if the third Roshar books are set during modern day, what if the Ghost Bloods are essentially from modern day Scadrial, and they're like, oh, this Stormlight can literally power a spaceship to. I guess they don't really need spaceships. They can go through the psychological realm or the
The cognitive realm.
cognitive realm. Yeah, I guess spaceships aren't really necessary in the Cosmere.
Well, I mean that depends on A, what the cognitive realm is like where they are. B,
Yeah, and I guess if they can get to the cognitive realm,
can
even.
they get to can they open a portal? C, like how easy is it to transport, through it? like people and resources. You know, because they certainly can't bring a spaceship into the cognitive realm. I would think, which
Well,
means,
yeah, but if you can navigate the cognitive realm, you don't need a spaceship. You can literally just take like a wagon.
well, yeah, but a wagon is much slower than a spaceship. I know the cognitive realm is, like
But I guess what I'm
condensed.
saying is you don't need a spaceship to go through the cognitive realm. You could just use a plane
I mean,
because you're not like you
if you
use
could
you
get,
use
I
a.
mean, if you could get a plane into the cognitive realm.
I guess what I'm saying is ship is designed for space travel, but the cognitive realm. So like you don't need like something that is built to go through the vacuum of space.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you can get a plane into the cognitive realm.
I guess what I was saying was you don't need a spaceship because you were saying bringing a spaceship into the cognitive realm, and I was like, why would they do that?
I mean, I guess, I, okay, well, I was saying they might need spaceships if going through the cognitive realm, limits them to, say, going on those sprint boats, right? If a sprint boat takes, a month to cross between Scadrial and Roshar, maybe a spaceship could get there in a week, you know, possibly, or that and a combination of the logistical problem of maybe they can't open portals or they can't
Yeah.
bring in they can't bring in large
Sorry, I thought
quantities
you
of
were
people or
saying that they would
resources.
need a spaceship in the cognitive realm. And like,
Well, on the other hand, how does the cognitive realm? I mean, how does the cognitive realm deal with planets? Like when they go in the cognitive realm in Roshar, water or land is
yeah,
water and water is
water,
land. How do they
or,
transport to a different
or I guess
planet?
like the topography is first.
Yeah.
Because like land, I don't know if it's actually water. It's just like there is a. I guess the water is the beads made of thoughts and ideas, you know. But I guess yeah, water. I don't know why I got nitpicky there. Um, but yeah, they reference travel between worlds. That was something that I was hoping that they would, just because I wanted to see what you did to do that, because we know it's possible.
Yeah, I
So
mean
because
Hoyd
like
does it. Uh, you know,
it's like the Ghost Bloods do it. They're an interplanetary organization.
yeah. But it may just be that it's like very difficult. Only manageable at a small scale.
Forgive me. To determine if you had. It seems torrent, whereas I may. There is, but I can take gathering place.
Gathering place of the tarnished. No thanks. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. It does feel like a silly motivation if it's just make money. Then again, I said like they could have already made so much money just doing the things that they're doing with
Yeah.
the
One
advantages they already had. But when has a rich person ever been satisfied with
yeah. One thing that
making?
I was like, baffled about was in this fifth book. You know, in the fifth book, their plot is, at least like their scheme is still the same thing about like Stormlight, which I'm still not 100% sure like why. But I guess essentially our they're just gonna side with who gives them ability to like transport Stormlight off world with, you know, with the least amount of risk. Whether it's the good guys or the bad guys, they'll side with whoever, you know, says, hey, we'll give you the least amount of tariffs on this Stormlight. But I'm not 100% sure, like, why. Because there's their obvious overarching plot of we want to transfer Stormlight, and then there's book to book thing where it's like they have little missions here and there to do things. Not 100% sure how those all match up to the idea of the end goal of transporting Stormlight, but sure. I have an idea of why they want to do what they want to do. But Shallan's talking to him in the fifth book and is like, hey, the thing that you want to do is probably outside of, you know, just going to fist fight Odium, like probably one of the most dangerous things that you can do on the planet. And they're like, ha, and? And I'm like, what do you mean, and? Like, I hear what she just told you. It's like you might as well pick a fight with a god, you know, given what you're do is like nearly as dangerous. And they showed almost no reaction. Like they were just like, okay, cool, we're gonna do it anyway. And she's like, I don't know what to say to that. So I'm just confused about how, like, Mraize and Eatil, or whatever her name is, are, I guess, the highest ranking Rosharan officers. But I don't know how, like, dedicated they are to the Bloods. I don't know. The Ghost Bloods are a weird organization, given that, like, she first got into it by murdering the real person, and then they were like, ha, cool. and they're like, you know, you can't trust anyone around here. You know, everything is earned, not given. You fight for your keep. And he's essentially like, I expect you to try and take my spot eventually. Like, that's the type of attitude they have. So I just don't fully understand what they're like, you know, how dedicated they are to whatever the Ghost Blood scheme is, or if they're just doing it for like personal gain. And but I mean, their willingness to do something super dangerous in the fifth book, I guess, I don't know if it shows that they're really dedicated or if they're just like fucking crazy people.
Digger, digger, digger. We've got a continent to save.
I will say, Shadow, in the fourth book, there is something that happens that it was probably the most unsettling thing to happen in the entire series. There's like a scene, I think, in the second half of the book that I was just like, oh god, what the fuck is going on here?
And so this is all I hope. Or I couldn't then.
Um,
I'm
just I assume you'll get and I'd like to get your take on what happens when some dude is just like out here doing nasty experiments.
It's Necrozma raid day tomorrow.
Your what day?
Necrozma raid day.
Oh.
Gonna be getting some of that sweet solar and lunar fusion energy. So I've been watching Boston Legal, and I just have no fucking clue what they're doing, like time wise. You know how Firefly was aired out of order?
And no, I had not heard.
You'd not heard that. Yeah, so Firefly, very popular, cult following sci-fi show. When it was originally aired, they they gave it like a bad time slot, and then they just aired the episodes like out of order. So the pilot, or the first episode that was aired, was not the pilot, and it, did not explain what was going on. Uh,
Interesting.
I don't know. I've never seen the reasoning behind why they
Do
would
you
air
think
it out
that's
of
part of
order.
the reason why it didn't get
Yeah,
super
no, that's
popular?
that's absolutely or I mean, it's absolutely a factor. Uh, but yeah, weird. Anyway, so that's what I was like, is that what's going on here? Because I watched what I later realized was the season finale of season one, and then the first episode of season two was like they introduced three new characters, or like I say introduced, but it was like you know, they're just there as though they'd always been there, not like these are the new lawyers who are joining the firm kind of thing. And then like two of the main characters in the previous season like weren't in it, and I was like, what's going on? And then eventually one of the characters showed up again. I was like, okay, she's still in it. And then like four episodes went by, and then finally, the other character who previously had seemed to be gone was suddenly back, and they referenced they referenced something she had done in the season finale, which was again 5 episodes previously. They referenced something she had done in the season finale as though it was like last week. And meanwhile, they've had multiple like full murder trials. Uh, yeah, I mean, last week, if that, I mean, it might have been like, hey, this happened yesterday. Um, so I was like, I don't know I don't know what's going on here. I almost am like, maybe they weren't sure this actress was going to come back or something, you know? Have you ever seen Boston Legal Digger?
I have no intention to.
I fucking hate uh what is it? Will Shatner? Is that his name?
William Shatner?
William Shatner? Yeah, I fucking hate his character. It
In
is
Boston Legal?
yeah, it is infuriating. Like the whole rest of the show is reasonably serious. Um, but his character, literally all he did, his character is a extremely like hardcore Republican, right? And
Okay.
literally just for reference,
why
and
why
literally
why
his
is that part of the story?
I'm just throwing it out there. His whole character is just him like being extremely aggressively
Republican?
sexual, lewd. That's the word I was
Oh.
looking for. Lewd.
Oh.
Not
Okay, so
sorry. Let me rephrase. Not aggressively as in the. I mean aggressively as in it happens all the time. So just not aggressively as in that's the
but
manner in
not
which he did
like
it.
a girl walks by and he like smacks her on the butt. Not like that type of aggressively.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. But
Okay. I guess I
it's just
what I didn't mean like why are you telling me this? I was saying why is that part of Boston legal story? Why is that a part of the character that he's extremely Republican?
I don't know, just for the jokes, I guess. And he's also, I honestly, so he also has some clear major dementia going on,
What?
like from the first episode. And then I thought they were joking, but they had an episode, they had an episode
Where he goes to the doctor?
about mad cow disease. And at the end of
Oh.
it, he was like, "I have mad cow disease," and I was like, "Ha, okay." But then they, but then they continue
What a
to
coincidence.
But then they continue to reference it later. They're like, "Oh, he has mad cow disease," and I was like, "No, really? They're really going with that as the answer to the dementia?" So he's like, and his whole fucking apparently he's supposed to be like a big shot, like he's a very famous trial lawyer, and his whole character is just him saying Denny Crane because Denny Crane is his name. So he'll like whenever he does a closing argument, he ends it with Denny
His
Crane.
own name?
Yes. And other people do it
Shut
too.
up. What? What? Why do you watch this show? It sounds horrible.
Apart from this, which it's fucking crazy because apart from this one character, it's pretty normal. Like, it's in fact good. But it's just so like, what the fuck is going on with William Shatner's character? Like, this, well,
Aside
I
from
guess
the guy with dementia who runs around giving stares at different sexual stuff and then going to the courtrooms, making statements and ending with his own name, the rest of it's just completely normal.
yeah. I mean, pretty much. Well, I'd say not completely normal, because also it's all like, uh, what the fuck is? Oh, what the fuck is happening? Okay, I was locked in a tree. What's the guy, from the Blacklist? Robert California.
Money.
What's his name?
Nah, I know who you're talking about. I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah. So he's like, I would call him the main character, or the most main character anyway. And
He looks like he'd be good on a legal show.
his whole thing is, I don't want to call him a wild card, but it is
Does he
more.
say his name at the end of his
He
closing
does not
statements?
say his name. Uh,
What's the point?
but he is.
Does he lose all of his cases because he doesn't say his name at the end of his case?
Anyway, he's more of a wild card. He's a lot more like, I want to say like bombastic. Like every case he's in, is like a big show, and he insults the judge a lot, or is like very sarcastic. Like he what they had a defamation case where like a um, a political candidate of some nature, there was an attack ad against them, like calling him a convict, and he had not been convicted of anything or even charged with anything. It was like some charity that he was you know like on the board of directors of, or something, like some like ancillary to him thing. Like he wasn't really involved in any criminal activity, but they ran this ad saying he was convicted of fraud or whatever. So anyway, so it was a defamation case, and the opposing lawyer said, I don't know what name he used, but like he talked about some, I assume, famous lawyer or judge
He
or
goes,
Supreme Court
Judge,
judge.
you're a fucking idiot, you know?
He cited this apparently famous person and said, this guy even said, that you can't restrict blah 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 blah, and uh, and the main character, whatever the fuck his name is, he says, well, I'm not surprised that you would cite, that judge. He's a well-known
Wait, time out,
pedophile and adult.
Wait, so who cited the famous person? Was it like
The
a random other lawyer? And
yeah,
then...
the opposing
Okay.
lawyer cited some judge and said this judge said this. And Alan Shore, which is the guy, the main character's name, said like, I'm not surprised you would quote
Reference a
this
pedophile?
guy. He's a well-known pedophile and murderer or something like that. And the guy's like, no, he's not. And Alan Shore was like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you had no problem with patently false, statements. I thought that's what we were here about. So like he's always very sarcastic and you know gives good speeches every episode.
That is a fucking wild tactic.
Literally every I guess I don't want to say literally every episode, but you know how like maybe you don't know because I don't know if you watch a lot of like legal dramas, but they
Never seen a single one.
okay. Well, a common theme is they have the same set of judges, right? Or like a recurring cast of judges. Um, and
he's rude to all of them.
yeah, in this case, like it seems like a very common occurrence in this show is the judge is a piece of shit, right?
Okay.
In the first episode, like the judge ordered his client to like if he was gonna accept the plea deal that they had arranged, he was like, I order you, in order to do this, you have to go outside the building you own that he was like getting charged with some, like code violations or something. He was like, you have to go outside the building you own and wear a sign for 4 hours, walk back and forth wearing a sign that says, I am a slumlord.
Okay.
And then he did that and got like, like people were like throwing glass bottles at him. And so he went to the hospital, and then the attorney went to the judge and was like, my client is in danger doing this. And he's like, he didn't complete his 4 hours, so fuck you. So like all the judges are basically assholes, seemingly. And then, he is an asshole back. He's charged with contempt a lot. Which I think is the whole, is the whole point of his character, is he's antagonistic But because he's a good guy, they always make him antagonistic against, a bad guy. Anyway, so far pretty enjoyable.
So they're like, we realize the character is not a good person, so we just have to make an even worse person for him to go against,
Well, I
so
mean,
that
I'd say he's a good person. It's just that part of his character is being super sarcastic and you know witty and insulting. I guess those are his best scenes. So they give him people to fight.
physically.
Anyway, so far it's pretty good. I just fucking hate every time William Shatner comes on the screen. He also,
Well,
anytime
how
he's
often
like,
is he in?
I mean, reasonably. Oh, holy shit! Fuck me. Uh, Reasonably often. Hopefully not forever, because I have seen a scene later on in the show where like, I guess they're like suing the, I don't know, the manufacturers of his Alzheimer's drugs or something. I don't know what exactly, but like I've seen a scene later on where he's in court and he's like completely checked out. So presumably at some point he retires, I guess, or dies of Alzheimer's or something. But until then, I gotta suffer it. Denny Crane has a son named Donnie Crane,
And
and
and when he finishes, he goes, Donny
he
Crane.
does. And there was a scene,
No,
and there was a scene where
no.
they, his son is also a lawyer, and they're facing off for the first time. His son shows up and is like, "Ha, you're, I'm the opposing lawyer," and they spend literally like a minute shaking hands and saying, "Diddy Crane, Donnie Crane, Tiddy Crane, Donnie Crane,"
No,
and that's a
no, that
yes.
no. I
And I,
gotta go to
I,
YouTube and see if I
I,
can find this.
I cannot stress this enough, Digger. This show is not a comedy, and it is not like uh like a
So,
joke. It's like it's
yeah,
treated seriously. But this one character is just ridiculous.
it was made in 2000.
What's that?
It was made in 2004. Alan
Mm-hmm.
Shore is the guy's name.
Alan Shore, yeah. But what's the actor's name?
Uh, Oh, James Spader.
James Spader. That's the one. Yeah, Ultron.
I found. Oh shoot! What? I looked up Denny Crane, and the is versus homeless man, and then the second one is shoots robber. Third one is shoots homeless man.
Well, there you go.
Well, time to watch it. So Denny Crane parking garage. I'll talk to you in a second, Shadow.
Why did I teleport here? This has nothing for me. Hmm.
Thank goodness. I'm still looking. It's not easy, but it's all a bit much for me.
Well, I took you no matter it. Lay out your arm.
I'm still looking.
Back all no matter. The girl, she has a sword out her eye.
So I'm still looking.
I am about to send you this video because this is the most fucking insane thing I have seen in a hot minute. You,
Back no matter.
like literally 10 seconds in, once the conflict arises to the end of it, it's just absolute fucking jaw-dropping moment after jaw-dropping moment.
All right, I'm watching it.
Turn the volume up, hear your reaction with
Really
it
want?
at the same time.
Yes, I do. Because being a partner in a law firm isn't all it's cracked up to be.
But the money's good, right?
Who are you?
Oh, I'm part of the Neighborhood Crime Watch. The way this works is you watch, I commit the crime.
Oh my God. No.
No. There's no talking. You just give me your watch and wallet now.
Here's my problem. You're black.
Mr. Crane! What?
I'm Debbie Crane. I'm a big shot.
So am I.
If you kill me, the headline's gonna be Black Guy Kills White Big Shot. And that's the last thing we need when we're trying to elect an African American as president.
Dear God! How about if I just blow your brains out right now?
That doesn't work for me. Work for you?
Please. Hey.
All right. Watch. Wallet. Gun. Knee. Right foot. Left foot. Thank God for guns, huh, Jerry? Only in America. Sweet land of Liberty Valance.
Oh my God, Digger, that's a dark picture because that would put this in 2008, which
Yeah.
which means he lasts at least 4 seasons.
I
Also,
kind
he
of thought the
seemed
same thing. I was like, wow, this got 4 seasons.
He seemed way more put together in that than he has in any scene I've seen in this show.
What do you mean more put together? He's somehow...
I mean, he didn't once call the Bill of Rights the Bill of Sale.
Oh, you're saying mentally.
Yeah, mentally put together. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Digger, in the last episode I watched, he 3 times in the episode, Digger, he pulled out a gun. Someone said, "Get the fucking gun out of here," or something to that effect. And he said, "Don't worry, it's not loaded," and then immediately fired it.
Wait, he did it 3 times?
And once that gun was a musket, which he brought into court.
No.
I have just now realized how funny it is that he said the musket wasn't loaded and then fired it. How much effort do you have to put in to load a musket?
You were fucking lying to me. This has to be a comedy. This cannot not be a comedy.
I swear to God, I mean, yes, there are jokes made by characters, like in dialogue.
Shadow, did you not just see that minute long fucking stick up where he goes?
I saw it.
Gun. He goes gun, knee, right foot, left foot, as he just fucking unloads 3 shots, disabling this man.
You know what?
The top comment of that, real quick, Jeff, comment of that YouTube video was, he could have shot him in the midsection and killed him, but he decided to disable him. That's gun control done right.
I'm now thinking, what I'm thinking is, Digger, had this character who had like severe dementia, and then they realized that the character was very popular somehow. Somehow some people out there were like, "This is my favorite character," and then they were like,
The
"Huh."
guy who shot off 3 different guns in the court is somehow my favorite character.
And then they were like, "Okay, well, we can't get rid of William Shatner, but he can't just continue to just have dementia and that be his only thing." So then
Yeah,
they
he
introduced
calmed that cow down.
a miracle medicine that cured him, or improved him greatly. And then eventually that medicine caused liver failure or something, and that's how they eventually end up with him, with them suing the drug manufacturer. That's what I'm.
I'm real quick. I'm looking at YouTube. There's Donnie versus Denny, and then there's Boston Legal on episode 15. Hopefully, this is where they meet. I want to see
Did it cry?
him do the Denny Donnie. The top comment is Denny Crane, Donnie Crane, Denny Crane, Donnie Crane. So hopefully this.
I
Absolutely plan. Shadow, you can't fucking tell me this is not a comedy. He said Donnie Crane after every fucking statement that he made in that meeting. Kerry Washington. Also, he has a horrible Boston accent.
I just don't understand the
I
motivation
don't
for
understand
this
how you
character.
watch that. Like, dude, finish the Stormlight Archive. Stop watching Boston Legal. That show looks like absolute fucking garbage.
Nonsense.
What do you mean not? Shatner's character is an idiot. His son is an idiot. I don't know why Kerry Washington is in this. I don't.
You don't know why who is in this?
And he, Kerry Washington.
Who's that?
Who's that? Like the black woman in the scene, like Denny Crane, Donnie Crane, Denny Crane, Donnie Crane.
I don't remember where they met. Regardless,
Well, I guess do you know the scene where they're like Denny Crane, Donnie Crane?
I mean, I remember that they say Denny Crane, Donnie Crane. I guess I don't know, what the
Well, in
case
that
was or
scene,
like who was in it.
he walks in he's like, "Where's the client?" And Kerry Washington says, "Did you promise her $5 million?" And
Oh,
he goes, "Hey, lady, just as a reference, always promise your client $1 million. It's good business." Leslie
nice.
Jordan was in that episode.
So I think she's the associate that they introduced in season. Oh no, wait. You said this is season 1, episode 15.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm just gonna look it up.
Looking at like the breakdown of filmography per episode,
Kerry Washington.
she does not seem to be in many episodes. I
Yeah,
will
so
say,
she's probably there just for that. Oh, this is the woman from Scandal. Yeah, so I think she was only there in
yeah,
that episode or maybe like 1 or 2 episodes. She's not one of the main
yeah.
characters.
I'm pretty sure Kerry Washington is like an Oscar-winning actress.
Okay.
Sorry, just you saying, "Oh, hey, this is the one Scandal."
Well, anyway, yeah, I mean, like I say, Denny Crane is the only character that's a joke. Well, and I guess by extension, his son Donnie Crane, who I think has been in 2 episodes.
Oh, I guess she is not an Oscar winner. She's an Emmy winner.
Oh, but that doesn't
Yeah.
count.
She's been nominated for a bunch of Emmys. But, you're singing the commercial that popped up when I was...
I've seen it so many times.
I know.
And now they're playing the same song in a different commercial, but in a slightly different like cadence. Actually, I don't even know if it's a T-Mobile commercial. But the original song, they're playing the same tune in some other commercial I've been hearing.
Well, time to watch some more Denny Crane moments.
I believe canonically he's never lost a case.
That's fucking insane.
Actually, I guess it's never lost a case where he was the person in charge, I think. But regardless, it's still insane. We've been less efficient than I could be because of our chatter. But that's what Deathless runs are all about.
I just watched a scene where he just made an argument, and like there was no real joke to it, and I was very disappointed.
What was the argument?
Sorry, what'd you say?
So what was the argument?
I guess there was a store that a woman was in, and a light fixture fell on her head and killed her, and he is asking the jury to pay out, or I guess to decide how much the family deserves in payout from the company. And he was like, this was an avoidable thing. They could have fixed it, they didn't. And then he tells a story about he was saying, I'll get up, the witnesses will get up, they'll get up, we can go through this whole show, but in the end, I'm going to ask you to decide how much money my client deserves. And he was like, there's a story that a friend of mine told me about a paper boy. One morning, he was throwing the paper, and it went through a window, shattered it, and blinded a woman inside. And in response, he gave this woman his day's wages, or like his week's wages, to make up for it. And he was like, so it's difficult to put the price on a human life, but why don't we just say that my client deserves a week's profit from this company, that or like a week of what they would have made in profit. You know what? Let's not be too greedy. How about a day of what they make in profit, which is probably a very large sum of money. But it was a decent argument to get normal people to be like, yeah, a day's worth of profit, that can't be a crazy amount. They aren't asking for that much. And then it ends up being like $15 million or something.
Oh, it was a divorce case. Or no, it wasn't a divorce case.
Shadow, I I found the clip because apparently he gets taken to court for shooting that guy in the knee and feet. And there is the clip of him talking in court as the defendant in this case. Would you like to see that?
I'm sure I will see it when I get there.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if you should get there. I don't understand why you're still watching this show.
I don't know how I can be more clear. It's enjoyable.
Okay.
God, that fucking song.
Sorry, Shadow. I know you're gonna see this episode eventually, but you're gonna need to explain what this guy just said. The the lawyer says you believe you have a constitutional right to carry an a concealed weapon without a permit, and he said, I was at home, and he goes, you were on the street, and he shot that guy in a parking garage. He was like, you were on the street, and he goes, well, the is my penis.
You cut out there. What was that last part?
He said, well, the home is where the heart is, and mine is my penis.
That is a very that's a microcosm of his entire character. Yes.
Like, so I don't understand how he was a character that they thought was a good character. They being the audience.
I mean, that's just my supposition, since he remained around. I don't know. This did come out in 2004. The audiences weren't, you know, there were 2004 people, you know. Like the people who were adult age in 2004 are now like boomers, you know. They have shitty humor. That's my only, you know, that's my only justification, my only guess as to how this could be.
He just said, the guy said, so you believe you have a constitutional right to concealing a weapon? And he said, the Constitution says whatever the Supreme Court says it says. And then he said, and the Supreme Court says what they say based on who's president. And then said, if you have a vice president in quail and lawyers, then you're probably going to be able to get away with shooting a guy in the...
Did you know
It's
that's
just... It's bad writing. It's stupid and bad. And I hate that character.
Yeah. Did you know that the guy who got shot in the face went on TV to apologize?
I have no... Oh, you're talking about the guy who got shot by Dick Cheney.
Uh-huh.
Didn't realize he got shot in the face.
Yeah. And then went on TV to apologize.
There's a video. Danny Crane shoots client.
God, he shoots a lot of people in this show, huh?
Dude, why is he so focused around guns? Like, why is that his The top comment is, Danny Crane proves he has far more integrity than most players in the sea. Shadow. So Denny is in a room, a client, and he says, "Well, you requested a new lawyer," and he goes, "I ain't requested nothing." This and he goes, "Well, we don't get along, so I can't be your lawyer." And he goes, "I think we get along fine." He goes, "Well, I can't be the lawyer of a man who killed a 13-year-old girl." And he goes, "I think I did her right. Like, I got AIDS, and she would have lived with a lot of suffering. I think I did her a favor." And then he goes, "Well, then we might tactic in this case." And he pulls out his gun and shoots him in both his legs. And then the police run in. He came at me.
Wild.
Dude, this fucking I just don't understand. Why is he bringing guns into the courthouse? What is
With his whole character. I was telling you. He's got, lewd comments. He's got guns. And dementia. I forgot the dementia. Lewd comments, guns, and dementia.
Shadow? There's a video that just says best Denny Crane moment. And the top comment was, "I had the pleasure of getting my picture taken with William Shatner this past September at a convention in Pittsburgh. When I approached him, I asked, 'Denny Crane?' And he replied, 'Yep, that's my name.' It was a short moment in my life that made a mountain of an impact." That got 1.8 thousand likes.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, Digger. The Well, I won't say it's the worst moment. Um, but a character was introduced to the show who was a previous lover of Denny Crane, and he spends a lot of time, you know, making suggestive comments. Um, and as she, what's that?
I said classic.
And as she is like leaving, I don't remember the exact interaction, but she says something like, God, I don't know what she said.
"I want that sweaty hog."
She was like, you know, just to leave you with something good, I'll do you this favor. And then she leans in and whispers in his ear, "Denny Crane," 4 times. And each time he grows more as though he's about
visibly, visibly, audibly.
And then the last time he like groans very loudly and clutches the desk.
Oh my god.
I tell you, that's his whole character.
It's just fucking absurd. There's
now...
another scene. There's another scene that I'm seeing on YouTube. Best Denny Crane moment, and it opens with a guy holding a gun at one. Why are there so many guns in this lawyer procedure?
Because Denny Crane's around. they're finally reaching the point in the show that should have been the first episode, which is, they're getting sued for sexual harassment.
I want to say a real question. This Bestini Crane moment scene. It's like 2 minutes long.
Okay.
Shadow. So the scene opens. Former client of James Spader saying, "You think you're a good lawyer now, Mr. Shore?" And James Spader's character goes, "I think I'm a busy one, and if you're gonna shoot me, just get it over with." And then you hear a gunshot. He doesn't shoot James Spader. I guess he just shoots like beside him. And there are two women in William Shatner's I guess.
Yeah, I've seen it. Where they're like, someone's got a gun on Alan, and he goes, "Oh, why didn't anyone tell me?" And he pulls out a gun.
No, I'm saying, first of all, how did you not hear the gunshot literally 20 feet from him? And second of all, when he doesn't know that it's a gunshot, he hears a police outside and it says, "We must have a jumper. I hope it's not Paul." And then he goes, "Well, then, if it's not a jumper, I know why you lay here. Let's get naked." What the fuck is this character? It's not good writing. It's a horrible writing. Bad dialogue, bad dialogue, bad dialogue. It doesn't make sense. It's so stupid.
I know.
I enjoy it, but ironically.
He in one of the cases he suggests that they'll win the case by the woman who is on trial for paying for sex.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, the facts are completely against us. They have plenty of evidence. So we just have to win by playing the judge. And he was like, the judge is a virgin who lives with his mother. If we suggest that the woman has nymphomania and may, for instance, be happy to spend some time with, the judge if she were acquitted.
Jesus Christ.
And then that works.
I mean,
this is the judge. This is the worst judge. This is the judge that in the first episode was the guy.
This show, from watching actual legal cases, this is an absolute 180 from what court rooms are actually like.
Yeah.
There is nothing in the scenes that I've seen so that have anything close to actual court cases.
I think the majority. Well, you know what? That's not true. We got. There are as with most shows, they're the main cases and then the side cases. None of the episodes are just one case going on. So there are
One second. I gotta finish this clip. He's putting together the rifle so that he can kill this man. He just said he was an ex-marine. I'll check back in with you in a minute. What the absolute fuck is this show? Oh my god, he said his fucking name after. You've got to be kidding.
He may legitimately be the most like the most annoying character I've ever seen.
Shadow.
Or at least the most
For some
annoying
reason,
character.
there is a gunman in their office holding one of his partners hostage. He constructs a rifle under his desk or in a safe in his office and then tells a woman, when I yell pull, open the door and I'm going to shoot it, because he equates it to skeet shooting.
Yeah.
And he also said, I'm a Marine. I was a trained sniper. Or was it a pilot?
Yeah.
It's just bad. It's all bad, Shadow. Why? Why? Why was this ever a thing? And he like shot him in the shoulder. Like he didn't kill him. The guy could have then, shot his partner.
It doesn't
Or I
seem
guess
like
did he kill him?
I don't think he killed him.
But if somebody started constructing a rifle in the office to kill a gunman, then said, I'm a Marine, I was a sniper, or was it a pilot, I would immediately all confidence. She kept saying, I'm not opening this door for you to shoot that guy. You're just going to get somebody killed. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. And then she does it anyway. Which it 100% was what was going to happen. But the entire time I was like, don't do this. Don't do this. And then, of course, they did it. Boston Legal is bad rats.
Radon Soldier Greaves. Don't mind if I do. Anyway, I was saying they do have some cases that are actually about the law, but I think the main focus of the show What's that?
When you said, well, they do have some cases that are actually about the law. Oh, good.
I think the main like thrust of the show is giving James Spader an opportunity to make a like rousing speech. Like a lot of their cases seem to be like, we don't have the law on our side, so we're going to convince the jury with, you know, a good speech, or the judge or
Yeah,
whoever.
like in the clip that I saw, which actually made a somewhat decent, you know, cogent point. He was he went up and then I prepared the opening, closing, and he no, I'm doing the opening. I have a closing, and then he's like, what the fuck is going on?
All right. Good hustle. Made it in the Kaled. Made it into Kaled. Now what, Digger?
And just find a gun. They seem to work
Say,
for
Diddy Gray.
James Spader.
Good to see you. I have you to thank. I can happy. I'm as yet. But, and if there's, well, I serve Roderica.
Well, I took you for no matter. It's out your arm.
Shit, I'm out of Smithing Stone 4s. I swear to God, they used to give me enough Smithing Stone 4s that I didn't have to go get this other one, but maybe I'm wrong. I might start watching The Good Wife again. That's an excellent show. Actually, I need to watch The Good Fight. I think they have like 4 seasons. I only saw the first one. Presuming that I have the correct, you know, subscription to view it. Never a guarantee. It's a wallop. Still watching Clips Digger?
Yeah. Just hoping for the downfall of William Shatner's character.
God, me too. If it makes you feel any better, he eventually does get like severely advanced dementia. Not just the kind that he has
But
the
it didn't
entire
get
show.
fixed.
What's that?
But I thought you said it got fixed.
Well, I've seen a clip where he's like seemingly like basically catatonic. So, you know, presumably at some point it gets unfixed.
Shadow. There's 101 episodes, and he's in 101 of the.
Oh God.
Also, it seems like it ended in 2000. Maybe him shooting a black man, saying my problem is you're a black man, and the headlines black man shoots wealthy white guy, and that it's bad for Obama. Wasn't the best plot line for a story. Shadow, there is a that I'm gonna make Noah watch tomorrow called The Despiser. It looks horrible. I mean, I don't know if you're around. Now we talked about this. Essentially, I watched the VFX artist react channel, and they showed clips from The Despiser, and they were absurd. And I want to see the full movie because it looks horrible.
Where the fuck does this go? I've never been that direction. Well, I'm sure I probably have at some point, but... I'm gonna Deathless run. Shit, mother bats. Don't like that. I have no memory of this place. Oh shit. Oh fuck me. It's a dare will. Eternal darkness. Okay. Well, now I know. world's slowest fucking dragon.
Well, there's been a... How can I? Have a safe journey. Well, I took you no matter. Lay out your own. Thou art of passing skill. Warrior blood must truly run thy veins. I shall remember thee, tarnished, smoldering with thy meager flame. Cower in fear of the night. The hands of the fell one shall brook thee no quarter. You there? Come over here. It's always me. What did I do to deserve?
All right, Dick, I'm gonna head off. We are 2 hours into the run. Digger? All right, see ya.